We have reviewed a lot of three-row SUVs. This is the 2021 Ford Explorer, the XLT, and we're going to take it for a drive and compare it to the competition, and it's a pretty busy class. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Lauren Fix. This is the 2021 Ford Explorer XLT. Now there are three engine choices. Today we're going to be talking about the base entry. This is the XLT trim level. We'll talk about some of those other trim levels. There are some differences for sure, and there are some new things for 2021 that you need to be aware of before you make your purchase. We try to give you information so when you walk into the dealer, you don't get just sold on a car, but you know what you're buying in advance. So we're going to cover 10 different categories, which covers performance, handling, safety, visibility, seating. We'll talk about technology, features, design, quality, cargo, value, and a Car Coach Reports total. In the description below, we will list all the competitors and links to those reviews so you can do all your homework in one place, Car Coach Reports. Don't forget to subscribe and click that little bell because we are giving you some car smarts. Let's start off with Under the Hood. Under the Hood is a turbocharged 2.3-liter four-cylinder engine known to the world as an EcoBoost engine. 300 horsepower, 310 pound-feet of torque. There's also an optional V6 EcoBoost and a 3.3-liter hybrid. All of them are backed by a 10-speed transmission that is an automatic. So the base engine again is that 2.3-liter engine, which has been around for a long time. And one of the things that you probably want to know is if you get the rear-wheel drive package, you're going to get 24 miles to the gallon. If you get the all-wheel drive package like we have in our test vehicle, the combined fuel economy is 23 miles to the gallon, which is pretty good. So you're still getting that performance. Now we're doing about 50 miles an hour and I'm in the sport mode. And there's different drive modes. If I put my foot in it, takes off pretty well, I have to say. That's one of the things I like about this vehicle is that it has more performance than most of their competition. And that is an important factor because getting on on-ramps, making a passing maneuver, or getting someplace and getting there at a speed that you feel comfortable is really important. Now there is a 5,000 pound towing capacity on this vehicle. It also has trailer sway, which is standard. I think that's really important if you buy that trailer towing package. One other thing, when you do get the trailer towing package, you get the enhanced blind spot detection. Good features to have when you're towing. Now, something to note, when you go to your drive modes, and they're really cool because they look just like they do on the Lincoln, you know, they're little pictures of everything. You have the sport mode, the tow haul mode, eco mode, normal mode, slippery mode, trail mode if you're going to take it off-road, and I guess you could, and then you have the deep snow and sand mode. So each mode definitely changes not just the RPMs and you're driving at just a consistent speed, you can tell the difference right away, but also what you're changing is the steering feel. And that's important. Now, this is not a race car, so you're not going to see all these suspension changes, but you are going to see how the vehicle reacts differently. And that's really important. Now, when you're comparing this vehicle to other vehicles, as far as its get up and go, this vehicle has a lot of get up and go, has a lot of capability. And I think that's really important. And sometimes it's overlooked when people are thinking about buying a three-row SUV, especially if you got cargo on the roof, you got, 7 people in here. That's when you really see the performance of an engine. And for performance, this vehicle earns an 8. Now, handling on this vehicle, standard is 18-inch wheels. Our vehicle has 20-inch wheels. We'll cover that in design. But the one thing I like about this vehicle is how connected you feel to the roadway. You do not get that with every single SUV that's three-row. Some of them are just uneventful and uninspiring. Where this vehicle has really good handling. And I'll just show you taking this corner here. It just feels connected to the road. You can apply the power right away. It is loud in this vehicle. That is one thing I have to tell you. You can hear the road noise. You can hear the wind and engine noise. I guess you could turn the radio up. This vehicle does have a rear-wheel drive platform, and what that means is that you're getting a real truck experience. You're not getting what you have in a lot of the other vehicles, which is a unibody. It's got a lot of flexibility. This is very connected and very well balanced, and it has really good brakes. One thing you'll also note is the terrain management on this vehicle. I think they did a great job having different drive modes, not just changing the performance aspect of it, but also some of the handling aspects. When you go off-road, it's about going slow and precise and sort of enjoying nature. When you need a sport mode, it's to get going. And there's an eco mode also. Each mode has its own slightly different handling characteristics. But overall, as far as handling, this really is one of the best handling vehicles in this 3-row category, and it earns a 9. When you're looking at safety, that's also part of your driver assistance settings. Now you can change the cruise control, the lane keeping, pre-collision assist, there's speed sign recognition, rear camera, blind spot monitoring, trailer sway control, park assist, cross traffic alert, which is really important in a large vehicle, and driver alert. Now to give you an idea what that means, one thing that Ford does is they put a video up or a picture each time they show you a different safety feature. This gives you an idea of how it works, so you know how you want it set and that you want it on. So part of this is part of the Ford Co-Pilot 360, and all Explorers get this standard with automated emergency braking, lane keeping assist, cross traffic, blind spot monitoring, reverse sending system, and automatic high beams, as well as these safety features. That is standard. And for safety, this vehicle earns a 9. When it comes to visibility, you have a very high seating position. And remember, visibility is 80% of your driving decision, so it is part of safety. So that's why I want to go over this and why it's so important. It's not just using the rearview mirror and setting the mirrors correctly. This is a big part of a vehicle, is that you can see the roadway, you can see the corners of the car, and you feel comfortable driving it. Now, one thing that's important to note is I always talk about the sill height. Now, based on where you set the seat, this is sort of where you might rest your arm. If the sill height is too high, the vehicle may look cool, but people in the second row won't be able to see out, and that's why visibility is an important factor. One other thing to note is if you look back here, you got these headrests in the way. When the headrests are up and there's no one back there, I'd suggest folding them down because they do block your visibility. Now, it's important to note that not every one of the cars in this category that compete with each other have an around view camera, and our XLT only has a backup camera that's 180 degrees. That's required by law, and that's good to have, and we covered some of that in safety. But it's really important that some of these vehicles have an around view camera, and that sort of limits your options to know what's around you on the ground so you don't hit anything. So for visibility, this vehicle earns an 8. When you're looking at seating for a vehicle, it is the most important factor because this is where you sit in this vehicle, or any vehicle for that matter. So if the driver isn't comfortable, the vehicle will not get more comfortable the longer you own it. Now, some of the features that I'm constantly talking about that no one thinks about when you buy a vehicle is the adjustable height seatbelt. Most of the vehicles in this category has this. You want it so the seatbelt is not constantly driving you crazy and digging into your neck. So make sure you can adjust it according to how you're built. And we're all built differently. Now, our test vehicle has heated seats for both front seats and a heated steering wheel, which is part of the preferred package. And there is lumbar on both sides. Thank you, Ford, for listening. So the seats are not necessarily the most comfortable, but there's lumbar, so you can start adjusting the seat to meet your needs. Now, you may not feel comfortable in this seat, or you might feel amazing. So it's important that you do that. Note there's also a massaging seat option, and yeah, that's a lot more expensive. Let's take a look at the second and the third row, and we'll give you a rating. Coming into the second row, there is a lot of legroom. Now, I have both seats set for me on 5'8", just to give you some sort of baseline, and there is a lot of room in this vehicle, more so than some of the competition, and there's tons of storage. We'll talk about that in features for the front, but back here you've got storage in the doors, all kinds of cup holders. You got storage behind the seats. There's a tray here. Remember, this vehicle seats 7, so you could order a bench seat across the top, but this is 2 captain's chairs, and I like that because you also get the armrests, which are very nice, and they're wide enough that you can actually put your elbow on it. Not all of them are that way. Behind the center console, you have a climate control setup for this row, plus the fact that you can adjust the temperatures in the fan, and I think kids would like that. There are 2 different types of charging ports. You get your USB, USB-C, and then your regular 12-volt charging. More storage underneath that. Lots of storage. One thing is about these seats is good for child safety seats is they move back and forth. So this gets someone in the third row, but it's also good if you got a child safety seat because there's latch systems on this row. You do not want your children kicking the back of your seat. It's just frustrating, and I'm sure if you've ever been through that, you definitely get that. But overall, as far as the seating comfort back here is not as comfortable as the first row, but it's pretty good. And there's all kinds of things. You've got lights on both sides. You've got vents on each side. You even have hooks if you want to hang something here. And you've got speakers built into the door, and this really is well put together. Let's take a look at the third row. Back in the third row, you have to adjust these second row seats for someone of any height to sit back here. If you want adults to be comfortable, that is going to be a top priority. Now, one thing that's important to note back here is there's storage, there is cup holders, and there is 2 latch systems for child safety seats, which a lot of the competition does not offer. That's really important. Now, there's also vents back here and an additional light up above. As far as like seat belts and anything, it's a 50-50 split. It's actually pretty comfortable. So if I slide my way over to this side, and it's a little tight. I'm all legs, but it's a little tight. The headrests are a bit awkward. Remember when I was talking about visibility? Make sure to put these headrests down when you're not using them, because they are kind of awkward in size and they kind of block your visibility, but also they're not necessarily that comfortable. So while the first row may be comfortable, the second row not so much, and the third row, you better move this seat forward in order for it to be comfortable for anyone. But as far as seating overall for this vehicle in this category, it earns an 8. When you're looking at the technology of your 8-inch center screen, first off, this is really small for the category. When you look at what other manufacturers are offering, this is like a very small tablet compared to what you're getting in the Kia, the Hyundai, the Honda Pilot, and I'll go on and on and on. The list is down below, like I've said. Go to the audio system here, and you're going to find Bang & Olufsen, which is fabulous top-of-the-line audio system, and I give them a lot of credit for having that. And that is one of the best premium audio systems on the market, although there's a lot of good stuff out there. You can have your phone connected, so that's easy to do as well. Your navigation, and in this case, it's a bit dated, but most people are using Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. There's also Ford apps, and that is something a lot of people like to use. You can use your mobile apps and send directions from your phone, and that is part of what Ford has had for a long time. Of course, Sirius XM Travel Link as well. You can also go into the settings, whether it be for the sound, the clock, your Bluetooth, as you can see here, driver assistance, which is safety, vehicle, your Ford Connect Pass, your Wi-Fi, which is standard on these vehicles now, and it also does the automatic updates. You don't have to go back to the dealer, your valet mode, and your navigation. So all of that is right there. Press the home mode. Very easy to use touchscreen, but technology is a bit dated. I'm surprised they've not updated to the current sync system. So for technology, I gave it a 6. There are a lot of features available on the Explorer. And I've actually owned Explorers all the way back to the beginning. It was like 1993, I think it was. Maybe it was before that, 92, when I got my first one. So they do have a lot available. There are currently 6 trim levels, and that is really nice. On the left side of the steering wheel, you've got a lot of your safety features. Your cruise control is also built in, because that's the lane departure and the distance. Very nice, easy to use audio system as well as in here. On the right side, you've got the ability to change some of your menus, and when you press this button, it changes the menu in front of you. So you can make that your own. On the left side of the steering wheel, you also have one of your safety features for lane departure, but also your headlights and turn signals. The right side is your wipers, both front and rear. In front of you, you have 2 analog gauges, which I actually like, because as the vehicles get older and you've had them for a long time, if something fails, it's going to be something digital, and that could be expensive. So I'm grateful for the analog gauges, but still having digital in the center. On the left side of the steering wheel, you've got a vent, and then going further down, you've got your headlights, as well as some other adjustments. On the door, you have your locks, your mirror adjustments, and your window lifts. There is no memory seating on the XLT trim level. Heading over to the right side, you've got your start-stop button and your vents that go around that center screen we just talked about. Additional storage is here, which is nice for putting your phone or whatever that might be. You've got your climate control and all of your rest of your controls here. A little door to hide some storage if you need to, but underneath, you've got additional charging. There is a total of 5 charge ports, USB, USB-C, and regular charge ports around this vehicle. Further back, you've got your shifter. This is their idea of what I call a prindle. It's just a dial. It's totally fine. Places to put food, drinks, that's all good. This is your parking brake, and that's your auto hold. This is my favorite button to press. It's the auto stop start button. Shut it off. Hate that thing. This is for traction control, that's hill descent, and that's for changing those drive modes. Further back, there's some more storage here for glasses, a pen, whatever you might need. And in the glove box, there is another charge port and more storage. Our test vehicle does not have a sunroof, sadly, but that's a personal choice. But the details in this vehicle are nice. They've done a really nice job thinking about who's using it. Tons of storage in the door. That is one thing that is a major asset for this car as far as the interior. Storage literally everywhere. And when it comes to features, this vehicle earns an 8. Part of what is new for 2021 is on the XLT package. There is a new sport appearance. And overall, you can see the Explorer written across the hood and the more muscular hood that's certainly more aggressive than some of the other vehicles that are in this category. You'll also notice the LED headlights and the body color grille, which I think looks really nice. It just makes it look clean and more modern. Big Ford logo, just in case you forget what you're driving. But further down, you've got a functional grille here and down here as well. And this is matte black. And the reason that it is if it gets dirty, the bugs that are on it, you don't see them. And so that's a nice little way of hiding some of the dirt that we all pick up on the roadway every single day. Some of the other features that you might want to note that are different besides the headlights is, of course, you've got your driving lights. And as you go around to the side, standard is 18-inch aluminum painted wheels. These are the 20-inch optional wheels, which were an additional charge on this vehicle. And we'll talk about that in value, how all of these nice little things that we like can increase the value of a lot of these cars. So it's really important that you look at the bottom line, and each one of these things that we want may not be what we need. But the 20-inch wheels and tires, all season Michelin tires, is a really wise choice. Going further back, some of the sport details you're going to notice is the gloss black here between the windows. Makes it look nice and clean, and the black roof rails are matte, and that's really nice. Just gives it a nice, clean, sportier look, and also more beefy and more muscular. Coming around to the back, you'll notice this sporty new upper wing and the wiper blade, which I wish was tucked up underneath. You're seeing that with a lot of manufacturers. It just makes it look cleaner, and it's also good for you as a user because that wiper blade lasts longer. You don't have the ice if you're down south. You have to scrape it off, and it damages the blade, and it lasts longer. So it's about not just looks and airflow, it's also about usability. You've got your LED taillights back here, XLT, Explorer embossed across the back of the deck lid, Ford logo, and then the four-wheel drive. That's what's one of the things I think makes this vehicle awesome during the winter because of the chassis that's underneath we discussed in handling. Further down, you're going to see your dual exhaust. Yes, dual exhaust with a 2.3-liter four-cylinder turbocharged engine. Makes it look really nice and clean. And overall, for design, this vehicle earns an 8. When it comes to quality, Ford builds a really good vehicle. And as far as longevity and resale, you should do pretty well with the Explorer. It is a known product by many people, and the maintenance shouldn't be too bad. But you should note there is a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty and a 5-year, 50,000-mile powertrain and roadside service. But looking at some of the competitors, such as Kia and Hyundai, they're 10-year, 100,000-mile. And those are the main draws away from Ford because of the fact of the longer warranty. But you're looking at the Japanese brands and you're looking at the other brands that are in this category, they have the same warranty as well with no maintenance plan. Now, your dealer might offer a maintenance plan. It's always good to ask, but if they're going to charge you for it, you might want to look at the real numbers. It's not always a best value for you. As far as the materials of this vehicle, exterior is great, and the interior is a lot of hard plastic on this XLT trim level. If you move up to the higher trim levels, yes, you're going to have more luxurious, more higher quality components, and that goes along with a higher price. But overall, when you're looking at the quality of this XLT trim level with the base 2.3-liter engine, for quality, it earns an 8. Let's take a look at the cargo space of the Explorer. With the third row up, you have 18.2 cubic feet of storage. Underneath this cover, there's a little Explorer embossed on it, is some more hidden storage, which is really good if you want to hide a purse or something of value. People won't think to look under here. That's also good. And storage on the sides. Putting the third row down, you pull this tether. With the third row down, you have 48 cubic feet of storage. That's pretty good. Put that second row down. If you fold the second row down, you have 87.8 cubic feet of storage, which is quite a bit in the category. There is a lot of room and very generous storage in the doors. they've done a really nice job. When you're looking at the price point or the value of this vehicle, it starts at about $32,000 and can go all the way up into the 50s. That depends on how you load it. Our test vehicle came in at $44,000. It's important to note when you start adding in all the things you want, like the 20-inch wheels and certain preferred packages, it starts to add up really quickly. That's pretty much true with every vehicle, although some of the manufacturers have figured out ways to package it so as you buy a higher trim level, you don't have to pay your way up to get those things that you might want, like wireless charging or bigger center screens. When you're looking at the value of this vehicle compared to others in this category, it just got real expensive as you started adding up this base trim level with all of the goodies that it has. It has a lot of positive assets, but for value, this vehicle earns a 6. There are a lot of pros and cons to this Explorer, especially in the XLT trim level. You're getting really good performance, tons of storage, very roomy interior, which not everyone in this category has. In addition to that, the handling is excellent. It has good connection to the roadway. On the negative side, I wish some of the materials were a little bit better, and I'd like to see a bigger center screen as standard. They've done a great job adding in safeties. There's a lot of great positives to this vehicle, so you have to decide what's important to you. And before you make a final decision when it comes to whatever of the vehicles in this category that you want, make sure to check with your insurance, because that could be the difference between having the car payment plus the insurance payment. That could get very expensive, especially when you start adding in hybrid engines, or if you want a plug-in variant, it can add up very quickly. When you add up all 10 categories for the 2021 Ford Explorer XLT, it earns a 78. Now, I didn't cover every single category, and there is a lot more on this vehicle, and I'm sure you have questions. Put them in the comments below. I will answer your questions because I want you to be empowered when you go into the dealer and you make your decision on whichever vehicle that you want. If you got value from this video, make sure to like it, share, and don't forget to subscribe. We're always putting up new information on our social media, and that's at Lauren Fix, and that's on literally every single platform. Check out our podcast, Total Car Score, on our website, carcoachreports.com. We appreciate your time, we appreciate you watching, and we will look forward to seeing you next time.